Okay, welcome to translation. So now we're going to talk about some geometry stuff. So translation, the definition, is where it moves every point of a figure the same distance and direction. Pre-image, new vocab word, is the figure before it is moved, aka the original image. Image is the figure after it is moved. And let's underline that word, after. Now, I really recommend colored pencils today, highlighter, something, so you can realize where things came from. Okay, so in this first section here, we are going to take the pre-image, so the image that was given to us, and we are going to use these little triangles that you should have gotten in class. If not, you can still do the work. So I'm going to place this triangle on my pre-image, and I'm going to translate it, aka move it down 4 and right 6. So let's count this. 1, 2, 3, 4. I went down 4. Now right 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so this is my new image. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna write out the new points. So this A is now here, and I'm gonna call it A prime. Then we have the B. The B is right here, and I'm gonna call that B prime. The C is here now, so I'm gonna call that C prime. And I'm gonna connect my dots real quick so it looks like a pretty triangle, because, you know. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna write out the points of the original image and the new image. So the original image we had, so A was 1, 2, 3, 4, so -4, and then it was up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, because we always write our points as x comma y. B is -4, and then it went up 1. C went back 1, up 1, so we got -1, 1. In my image, so after I moved it, after I translated it, A prime is 2, 1, right 2, up 1. B prime went right 2, down 3, so right 2, down 3. C prime went right 5, down 3, so right 5, down 3. Okay, so these are the new points. Now what we need to do is we need to write the prime notation rule. Now before we do that, let's write some stuff that we should remember. Now remember your slope stuff, because that's kind of what we're doing. We're doing some slope stuff, but with a figure, is that if you go right or left, that is the x-axis. All right, that's x values. If you go up or down, that is the y-axis. Okay, so looking at this, we went, so right or left is x-axis, so let's start with the x value. We went right 6. Now going to the right side of a graph is a positive thing, so we're going to put +6. Then we also went down 4. So remember, down is a y-axis thing, so I'm going to use the y. And going down is a negative thing, so I'm going to do -4. So that's the rule, okay? Now, if you want to write some notes above, and below these, right is positive, up is positive, left is negative, down is negative. So we're going to find the missing points using the prime notation rule that x, y translates to x -6, y +3. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to write some little notations. X, y is the pre-image, okay? And then the image is after you translate it and do x -6 and y +3, okay? So what I'm going to do is, now see how it's pointing in this direction? So when you go from left to right, this is the math you're doing. So if I -6 to this 3, you can do that in your calculator, right? You can do 3 minus 6, and you get -3. And you can use your calculator to help you. So the first A prime is going to be -3. Then the y, it says for me to add 3. So I'm going to do 2 plus 3, which is 5. When I go to B prime, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do -4 minus 6, which gives me -10. And then I'm going to do 1 plus 3, which gives me 4. Now, in this next bit, though, we are given the image. We have to find the pre-image. So, again, like how we used to do with slope, we have to do the opposite movements. The opposite. So let's write this on the bottom here. If we're going in the opposite direction, we have to do x plus 6, and we have to do y minus 3. Okay, so make sure you write that down. So when I do this in my calculator, let's start with this x here. So for C, we have to do 2 plus 6, so that gives me 8. For the y, we have to do -7 minus 3, which gives me -10. To figure out D going in the opposite direction, we have to have -3, so we got D. -3 plus 6 is a +3. And then again, in the opposite direction for the y, we have -2 minus 3, which gives you -5. Okay, so just be careful. When you go from left to right, you do what it's given. If you have to go backwards from right to left, we're doing the opposite movement, just like how we used to do a slope. In this next one, we are trying to figure out the rule. If you can do the math side to side, you can, but here's another way. Pick any of the points, it does not matter which one, and you're gonna rewrite the original point and have an arrow that goes down, and you go to the image point. So the pre-image to the image point. Now, I'm gonna do A, B, and C, but just pick one of them. All you're gonna need to do is remember your number line. So let's look at 3 to -4. In my number line, if I start at 3 and I'm going to -4, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I am going in the left direction, so I am subtracting 7. And I can double check that in my calculator because it's always good to check your work. I do 3 minus 7. Oh my gosh, that does give me a -4. So that means all of these are gonna work out, okay? Again, it doesn't matter which one you pick, just pick one of them. I'm just showing all of them so you can see how it flows the same, right? Because -4 minus 7 is -11. 3 minus 7 is -4. So all of those work out here. Then I'm gonna look at the y. So from y, to go from 2 to 6, I can do that in my head, fortunately, and that's +4, right? 2 plus 4 gives me 6, and that works out. 1 plus 4 does give me 5. -5 plus 4 does give me -1. So when I write this out, and again, you only have to pick one of them, I can write this out. So my prime notation is, for the x's, we are subtracting 7. For the y's, we are adding 4. Ta-da! Okay, in the next problem, now we're gonna write out the points for the pre-image and the image, and then we're gonna write the rule. Writing the rule for this one is a little bit easier. So let's start with the original image. So we have F, G, and H. F's points are -4, -5. And if you wanna like bold up this line here, because it is kind of light, you can. Or you can also write a 0 in the middle so you kind of know where that middle is. G is -5, comma, -1. H is -2, -2. For F prime, G prime, and H prime, now primes are always going to be your image. Regular letters without the prime is your pre-image, in case that wasn't clear. So those are the points. The rule, you can just pick one of the points. You can pick F, G, or H. It does not matter which one. I'm going to figure out how to get from G to G prime. Now be careful when you're counting, right? I started here and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is not where you start. Same thing here. If you start here, then you go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So because of that, I got to be careful, right? Because up is a Y thing. Right is an X thing. So we're going to do X plus 7. And then the Y was up 4, which is positive. So we got Y plus 4. And that's what we're doing today. All right. So again, if you want a number line, you can have one. I'll have extra. And you can always use the ones in the classroom as well.